What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. I hope that you guys are all having a great start to your Friday. Today it is January 19th. It's 7:26 in the morning. Market opens in the next 4 minutes. And welcome to our live session. This is going to give you kind of a taste of what the LPP team gets to experience every day. If you like what you see and you want to join our team, it's the second link in the description down below. If you like what you see, but again, maybe you're just not ready to join our team, hopefully you can consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions during this live stream, the live chat is on the right-hand side on desktop or right below the video on mobile. You do have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel to partake in the live chat, so just a little heads up on that. Normally, again, before market opens, we like to have a little bit of a better understanding of what's to come for economic reports. There's a bunch of free websites that you guys can use for the economic calendar. This is a weekly calendar that provides you a list of different economic reports that are set to be released. Friday, January 19th, we have existing home sales and consumer sentiment report that's all going to be released at 10 a.m. Eastern time, which is 30 minutes after the market opens. So we will be capturing both of these reports and how the market reacts. They're not super important reports, but we might see a slight reaction to the market. So just giving you a heads up on that. So, all right. Is there any big data today? Not that I see going on right now, but we'll see if anything changes, right? We'll see if any specific news gets released that changes market sentiment. As of right now, it's actually quite a significant day, and the reason why is that NASDAQ with aftermarket trading, right? QQQ just hit all-time highs. So we just hit all-time highs on the S&P 500 as well, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be SPY, and that was all happening during that extended during the pre-market trading session. So markets are at the highest that they have ever been before for the NASDAQ and for the S&P 500. So just a heads up on that. I mean, it is pretty significant when it comes down to that. Yeah, let's go ahead and follow up with Save. So Save is, whoa. We talked about this yesterday. We were joking around. Save hit lows of $4. If you think about it, that is nearly a 100% return from lows to overall highs. I took a joking position of, I think I took like a $500 position. Nice. Okay. So from the open, but think about it, percentage return, 26%. Insane. That is an insane move. I mean, if I would have had, I don't normally trade stocks like this. It was just so oversold. There's unfortunate news that a merger was not going to happen for Save, and it pulled back very, very aggressive. I trade with over $500,000, so like this thing being down, the dollar amount that we saw, for me, it was like, okay, I'll throw $500 at it and see what happens. So let's go ahead and wait and see if we continue to show signs of an uptrend. Yeah, should have held Save. I mean, at this point, I possibly should have. I mean, it's easier to always look back and be like, man, I should have bought like $100,000 worth of it. I would have been up 26K, right? It just doesn't work that way. All right, let's see. Market just opened. This is why you're seeing the increase of movement within, the candles. So market open, there tends to be a lot of volatility. One thing that we love to remind beginners is that right at market open, it's not necessary for you to take a position, especially if direction is not in your favor and or direction is not clear, right? If direction is clear and it meets all of your criteria, then of course, all power to you, right? But if not, then the idea of staying patient is going to be in your best interest. Okay, so it looks like there's significant good news about Spirit. and it's looking to refinance $1.1 billion in debt. So that's what's causing, that's what caused this huge push on SAVE. All right, NASDAQ market pulling on back. This is what we talk about when direction can change right at market open. A lot of people might think, oh my gosh, NASDAQ market is in the green pre-market. We just hit all-time highs. Market's about to open. This is going to be perfect because I'm going to jump into QQQ or to TQQQ. That's not how it works. There's many, many times that the market, just like we are seeing, starts off in the green, but it's not about where it starts off. It's about the progress that it's making. Is it making progress on the upside, or is it just selling off? A stock can open up in the green, but all it does for the remainder of the day is sell off. Is that a stock that you want to be trading for the day? Probably not, right? Because direction is against you. So direction is super important. As of right now, we're seeing a really nice pullback on QQQ. We'll see if we begin to show signs of a support and a potential reversal, or if we continue to sell off. So good morning, good morning. How are we doing? All right, here it goes. NASDAQ beginning to show signs of a support. Let's go down the list. We got TQQQ, which is the triple leverage NASDAQ ETF. We'll talk about that in a little bit. SQQQ, which is the triple leverage inverse ETF. We have Tesla. We had a lot of fun shorting Tesla yesterday. Tesla hitting lows of 207 during this pre-market session. Tesla has been consistently selling off. So this is what's been making it easier and more favorable to short. Now, is this something that I want to continue to short? Definitely not. Tesla is reaching oversold levels. It's something that we have to take into consideration, that the risk becomes greater in shorting a stock like this as it becomes more oversold, because it's more likely to begin to recover, right? And if this thing begins to recover, that's great for people who are invested in it, not people who are shorting it, right? This might be the time where I might want to consider, like, okay, do I want to start buying the dip on Tesla and potentially swing trading it up here, right? A lot of people like to ask, do I need to be trading every day? Well, everyone's on different schedules, right? But it's all based off of opportunity. And if you, let's say that you were someone that really liked how Tesla trades, and we're looking at this on the 4-hour time frame, meaning every candle represents 4 hours of time. We saw Tesla recently pulled on back. Tesla has been selling off because of the uncertainty of Elon making a threat that if he doesn't get 25% of Tesla stake, or if he doesn't get more voting rights, he's going to take his talents when it comes down to AI and robotics elsewhere. So that's not the best sounding news for Tesla, right? Because the Optimus robot was something that was supposed to bring a lot of value to Tesla, and if it gets taken elsewhere, then that value gets taken out of Tesla, and this is what we're seeing, right? The correction. So other than that, let's say that they do come to an agreement, Elon chooses to stay, that's probably going to act as a positive catalyst, right? So at that point, again, we have to ask ourselves, are we going to want to buy the dip and sell the highs? Well, what exactly does that look like? From lows to highs, that's not going to happen overnight. That's not going to probably happen in just 1 or 2 days. It might take weeks. It might take months. So it offers a 22% return. Pretty solid. 22% return, that means that if I put in $10,000, I could potentially make $2,200. If I put $100,000, I could potentially make $22,000. Make sense? If you put $1,000, that's roughly around 220 bucks. That's in a perfect roll based off of current lows and previous highs. Previous recent highs. So just something to be aware of. But this is where swing trading can come in, where you don't have to be trading every single day. If you see opportunities like this that present themselves, you're able to buy them, dollar cost average into it when it makes sense, and then sell at previous highs, right? Very, very simple. So SQQ is dead till March. SQ is looking, let's see. Looks like we are beginning to show signs of a support. We're not breaking above that EMA, so no reason to jump into this as of right now, but We'll see. Let's give it a little bit of time. Trying to see what our focus is going to be for the day. We have AMD still indicating signs of an uptrend. Same thing with Nvidia, same thing with Google, Microsoft, Meta. All of them are pushing up right now, which is great, but we have NASDAQ struggling. So again, it's kind of asking the question, do I want to buy the dip into this and sell at previous highs? Or is this going to get rejected here by the EMA and continue to sell off? Yeah, Ricky, how do you like the super trend? I see it to be more useful on the 5 minute. On the 1 minute, it's a little bit more impulsive. And it's still not accurate 100% of the time, right? Just like nothing is. But I like it. I like to use it as a reference. There are moments that when the sell signal does get triggered, we do tend to see a little bit more selling pressure, which is cool to see, right? TQQQ is looking weak. I agree. NASDAQ market was looking weak leading up to market open. But if we hold strong and begin to break above VMA, that would be a different story. Fridays are usually red. I wouldn't say that necessarily, especially not based off of recent setups. Market's been incredibly bullish, and it wouldn't take a trade based off of what a day usually is. But yeah, if you don't feel comfortable going long on Fridays, then no reason to, right? What we're doing right now is, again, a big part of trading is literally just waiting. You're waiting for a setup. A lot of people think that, right when market opens, you're just actively trading nonstop, and that's where over trading can really kick in. And over trading, how many times we could speak not just from my experience, but other people. Over trading is the idea of taking multiple different trades that are not actually worth it. And at the end of it, anytime that you open a position, you're opening yourself to risk. So the idea of focusing on quality versus quantity isn't the worst. So that's what we're waiting for right now. I'm just waiting to see. I'm trying to give the market the time that it needs to paint its picture for the day. If I see that it's going to be more on the bearish side, then maybe I can consider shorting the market. If I see that it's going to begin to show signs of a recovery, maybe I can consider going long. Make sense? Do you see what's going on right here? So this is Tesla. And remember, Tesla has been recently bullish. So I want to give it the time that it might need to continue to uptrend. But Tesla's looking overbought on the day, right? It pushed up very quickly. It became overbought, and there's potential for this thing to sell off. So that's what I'm beginning to ask myself is it overbought enough that it can begin to pull on back? And if so, do I want to open a short position right now? Kind of what I'm debating, right? Do I open short, or is it too bullish and too early that I might want to wait? Because the margin isn't huge right now. So from where we're at right now, if it does go back to pre-market lows where it was literally right before pre-market, it's about a 1.43%. The thing that I could simply do is I could wait, give it more time. If it continues to run up, become more overbought, and then maybe choose to take a short position if direction becomes favorable then. Make sense? Tesla to 220 today. That would be insane. Do you see this descending pattern? Right? Lower highs, lower lows. It's very easy to see the continuous descending pattern on this. Yeah, just broke above that EMA on the 30-minute. If it gets to the price point of around 215, I would love the idea of opening a short then. So Ricky, why would you choose to short Tesla instead of buying Tesla? Because Tesla's recent pattern, not just on the day or not just on the past 5 minutes or the past 20 minutes, but Tesla for the past 2 weeks has been selling off. So let me ask you this. I like to humanize everything, right? Make it easier to understand. So for you asking me that question, how would I consider or why would I consider shorting Tesla? Let's say that you're you see me for the past 2 weeks, and every time that you see me, I slap you in the face. Every time that you walk up to me for the past 2 weeks, I slap you in the face. It's pattern recognition, right? So every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, boom, each day, slap you in the face. All of a sudden, you see me 2.5 weeks later, let's say today, you stand in front of me and maybe, again, what can you assume? Well, if for the past 2.5 weeks, I've slapped you in the face and you're standing in front of me again, is it likely for you to get slapped in the face again? Probably. And I'm trying to give you a funny analogy when it comes down to this, because I want you to retain this information, right? I want you to understand that patterns tend to repeat themselves, but of course, they do not always have to, right? But this is where pattern recognition comes in. It's not just over one day. It's not just over, 2 or 3 days. We're literally talking about, ever since December 28th, so for the past 2.5 weeks, Tesla has been selling off. And because of that, if you're asking the question, why would I consider shorting it? And it's because it's every single day. It's been selling off. So the more overbought that it becomes, the more encouraged I am to potentially take a short position. And it's not that it has to go according to plan, but if you're asking me why, that is why. Because it has been selling off for the past 2 weeks. That is where the pattern recognition comes from. Does that make sense? I bet you won't forget that. And if so, then maybe I'll slap you in the face. Just kidding. I'd never do that. Looks like Save is already pulling on back. Uncrustables for the win. What's up? Do you see how slow this is setting up, right? NASDAQ market sold off. It's trading sideways. It's not selling off anymore. It's building the support, and watch it try to break the EMA and then try to recover. Okay? That's what I'm looking out for right now. And look at this. Pretty overbought. The more patient that we are, the more overbought it becomes, the more downside potential. Now it offers about 1.8%, a little bit closer to that 2% mark. We'll see if it can get closer to the 215. Based off recent patterns, 215 has been more of a common resistance range. So no reason for me to rush into this. No reason at all. Think about it. Like anytime that you're trying to buy the dip on a stock, or if I'm trying to short something, right? Why would I want to overpay? But it's much easier said than done. I often tend to buy early. And it's a bad habit that I want to continue to work on as time goes on. My good habit is that if I do buy early, I buy with a very small position size. And that normally goes in my favor. because if things do go south, it's easier to manage, and or I can dollar cost average into it when direction is actually favorable. What's the neon green line? This is the moving average, and then the blue line is the EMA, which is the exponential moving average. We break it down and explain it in the course. So if you're asking more about my setup and some of the indicators that we're talking about, they're all explained in detail in the LPP lesson library, which is included when you sign up and also get to watch me trade live. So it's the second link in the description down below if you want the 50% off discount. All right. So I have a question. Todd is asking, according to the P2T rule, let's say that I have an account with $25,000. I take a position with $15,000 and it brings my account value under $25K. Will it count as a day trade? Of course. If you take a trade and you fall below that $25,000 value, I believe they give you until the end of that closing date. But yes, it will go against you if your account balance is under 25,000, for sure, right? It's based off of 25,000. So if it falls below, then yeah, you are then therefore restricted and no longer above the 25K threshold. How often do you play pickleball? Not too often. That's good. How long do you normally trade with LPP team? At least 30 minutes. I feel like the past recent weeks we have been doing more along the 1 hour mark, and the longest I'll do is probably like an hour and a half. We've had trading sessions where they're very efficient, and within 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I've taken, kind of like yesterday. It was a fun live. It was informative. I took, my trades and it went well. And yeah, I mean, at the end of it, if there's an active trade, normally it doesn't take that long for it to, complete its range of movement. So yeah, but we have a handful of LPP students in here, so they can speak for themselves or for me on how long on average I go live for them. So it's about 30 minutes to at least 30 minutes, but to an hour and a half every day, Monday through Friday when the market's open. So basically you will need well over 25K in the account to actually freely trade. To some degree, Todd, but again, I want to remind you, just because you are over the PDT rule, it doesn't mean that you should just start just trading everything and anything, right? Even if you do fall under the 25K threshold, remember, it's 3 day trades within a 5 business day period. So if maybe you take one bad trade and it goes south, you still have 2 other trades to bring your account balance back over to 25,000. At least that's how I see it. Ricky, does a swing trade look good on GameStop now? I don't even have to look at the GameStop stock to say no. I wouldn't swing trade something like this. It's not my cup of tea though. What is it? GME? GameStop has been consistently selling off, lower lows, lower highs. Let me ask you a very simple question. If we were to have a graph and it were to show the performance of your account, your trading account, would you want it to look like this? Consistently descending and losing value? Just It's a rhetorical question, right? You could answer it yourself. Is this what you would like it to look like? You know how like on Robinhood, if you click on like all time, it shows you like your performance, and if you've made money, it goes up. If you've pretty much broke even, sideways. If you've lost money, it sells off, right? So when looking at this, what about this would ever encourage anyone to want to buy into it? If you want to day trade it because it has some form of performance or reason on why it's pushing up, that's a different story. To buy and hold a stock that's consistently selling off, remember, remove your emotions aside from it. It's not what you hope happens. It's about what it's showing you, what it's telling you. And to me at least, GameStop is a horrible company. It's the only reason that it's lasted this long is probably because both GameStop and AMC liquidated a bunch of shares at one of the highest price points during that whole short squeezed moment, because they knew, even their executives and CEOs knew, that it's a crap company. It's probably not going to hold at those levels, and it's only a matter of time for them to give it back. So how easy would it have been for them to liquidate $50 million, $100 million worth of shares at those overbought levels? They cash out, market pulls back, and they can buy in at a fraction of that. Super, super simple to understand. Don't just look at the intraday performance. When it comes down to swing trading, I like to get the overall big picture. And to me, this is a crap company that's consistently selling off. It was manipulated based off of a movement. And guess what? Now it's back down to, if not worse, of where it was from when it first started. I guess it's not worse because it was at one point below $1 a share. Now it's at 14. So okay. All right. So PDT rule is not based on cash value. If you take a position with 15,000 and your account value is 25K because what you bought has value, no, I don't think that's what he was asking. Black Point. He's asking if he buys 15,000. Let's say he has $25,000 to trade with. He buys 15,000, but then with those $15,000, that open position, he loses. Let's say he's down 10%. It's 1,500, right? If he's down 1,500, then he goes from a $25,000 account balance to 23,500. So yes, he would fall out of the PDT rule. Simple math, right? Yeah, if he takes the position and if there were to be movement where he falls under that $25,000 account balance. Elaine, that is too funny. Okay. Looks like we are beginning to try to push up here on QQQ. We're about 25 minutes in. We're 5 minutes out from the existing home sales report and the Consumer Michigan Sentiment Report. Looks like we did begin to sell off here on Tesla like we expected, right? Became very overbought. We pulled on back. It's testing support here at the EMA. If it breaks below this, we'll most likely test support at that moving average. Ricky, what about shorting AMD? AMD is an active uptrend, right? Based off of recent patterns. This thing has been actively selling off. Yes, it is overbought, but it's not actively pulling on back. And because it's so consistently bullish, this just, first off, it doesn't offer like crazy good return, right? It's a really valuable company and it's performing it very, very well. You could, if you wanted to try to be very efficient with like your entry for the short and where to cover. But the way that I view shorting something that's incredibly bullish like this would almost be like trying to buy the dip on a stock that's consistently selling off. You're simply trading against the overall market direction. You let me know what you think though. I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice and you're simply making it more challenging for yourself when you are trying to do something that is against the market direction. Me choosing to short Tesla, I'm going with the flow of the market. It's still difficult, it's still challenging, but it's easier if Tesla was extremely bullish. Make sense? Can you please take a look at AMC? Oh, how I would love to. Just kidding. AMC is going to be the same setup or the same opinion that I have from GME, same thing from AMC. So I'm just not a fan of these. I wouldn't see why anyone would want to buy and hold these. I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's consistently selling off. It's bearish. And it lost its hype from the movement. Like there's no other way to put it. It's just, yeah, that's all it is. It's literally trading at lower price levels than what it was before this whole squeeze movement. So if that is not enough of a reason to stay away, then I wish you nothing but the best. /CL. So Webull doesn't have futures. So I can't break down /CL. All right, we have 1 minute left. We have a few seconds, 40 seconds left until those economic reports come out. So we'll see how they affect the overall market to see if we see some positive or negative movement on NASDAQ. What's your game plan for today? Are you making a trade? Yeah, I'd like to make a trade right after these economic reports get released. I just want to see if it pushes the market to overbought levels. Maybe I can short it, or makes them very oversold, and maybe I can buy them. So I'm not in a rush. I definitely want to, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I see myself taking a quick little trade. I just wanted to give the market a little bit more time to become overbought or become oversold. And there it goes. Nice little push here. Look at that. Let's see what the economic reports are coming in at. We're going to have to give it some time for them to actually be reported on. Look at that. NASDAQ pushing up. Let's see what's going on with Tesla. Look at that. Tesla getting a second win because of these economic reports. So if you ever ask the question, right, how many of you, if you just got started and weren't aware of those different economic reports, you would be like, what the heck's going on? Why at 8 a.m. in the morning or 30 minutes after the market opened is the market moving like this? What was just factored in? And that's the question, right? You can't know something when you don't know what you're looking for. And this is, again, do you need to be a part of our group? No, not at all. You can try to figure this out all on your own. But again, it's really challenging to try to learn something when you don't know what to learn. And that's the whole point of a group. It's for them to be able to provide you kind of just like a general blueprint, a general understanding of the market so you can build off of it, right? It's still going to take time for you to build your own trading style, but to be able to understand the do's and the don'ts of the market, you know, these economic reports, how they get released, why they get released, how they affect the market, all that good stuff, right? So it looks like the consumer sentiment report came in at 78.8, which is better than what is expected. So is good news bad news? I don't know. Look at that. Tesla pulling on back. This is a nice little fake out, and we do see this happen quite often. So what's going on here is, I believe it's next week, right? Next week, the Federal Reserve is supposed to meet. Let me just double check. Nope, it's not next week. This one's a really late FOMC meeting. Yeah, it's on Wednesday on the 31st of January. It's one of the latest. I don't know if I've ever seen one literally on the last day of the month. So it says FOMC meeting. What that means is the Federal Reserve, who focuses on monetary policy. Have you guys heard when people talk about, oh, they're raising interest rates, or they're cutting interest rates, or they're pausing interest rates? Well, what does that mean? Well, depending on how this economic data is being reported, the Federal Reserve, it's a committee, it's a group, they come together and they make a decision for we the people. And they decide, hey, the economy is doing too good and it's moving too fast, but inflation is too high. We need to raise interest rates to slow down the economy. Okay. Now we've seen inflation go from 9.1% to, I think now it's at 3.4. I forgot what it was the last time. 3.4 or 3.6. But now inflation has been going down. So now there's the idea that the Federal Reserve is going to be cutting interest rates within the first quarter of 2024. So is that good or is that bad? Well, do you know how they say right now it's expensive to borrow money because interest rates are so high? So when they begin to cut interest rates, and if they do, that should make it more affordable for people like you and I to then borrow money. So naturally, if interest rates become cheaper, people begin to naturally spend more. It boosts the economy because it's cheaper to borrow money, not just for people, but for businesses as well. So when these reports come out, it's all based through the eyes of the Federal Reserve. Is this good or is this bad? And there's a common saying of good news is bad news and bad news is good news, because if it supports the case that the economy is doing too good, then maybe the Federal Reserve has no reason to cut interest rates. Make sense? It makes more sense as time goes on. I can reassure you that. It might be a lot of stuff to take in on the first day, but I can reassure you it makes more sense as time goes on. So existing home sales, 3.78 million versus the expectation of 3.8, a little bit lower than what is expected. And normally you might be like, oh, that's not maybe the best for the market, right? We're doing worse than what's expected. No, sometimes people see this as a good thing, because think about it. If the market is actually doing slower than what it was expected to be doing, then that means that they could justify lowering interest rates to boost the economy. But if the economy is doing better than what is expected, then it's like, oh no, it's doing too good. We shouldn't cut interest rates. It's already doing too good. There's no reason to cut them. Do you get what I mean? Do you get how the Federal Reserve tries to pay attention to those things? All right. Looks like we are getting rejected here. Looks like SQQQ is going to be setting up for a potential reversal. When do you think Webull will bring futures? No idea. I'm not a developer for Webull, so I can't answer that question. Look at that beautiful pullback. Just like we expected. Tesla dropping like it's hot. Working towards that 2% downside. So make DWAC great again. Yeah, we'll see how that goes for you. SMCI. Nice. Super hyped up. Out of nowhere. Oh, it's relatively pretty bullish, but looks like something had to be announced today. Gapped up after market hours after seeing a nice little pullback. Now we're up to nearly highs of $400 a share. Obviously very, very bullish, but now it just gets me to think, can we sell off? Ricky, at what price point are you entering a Tesla short? Tesla's short should have already happened. I missed the opportunity already. I talked about it over there, but I was preoccupied with waiting for that report to come out that I didn't take the trade. So no, I missed it. We talked about it when it was up here. We're gonna wait for confirmation, but I have to accept when I missed the opportunity. It's already too oversold. It's coming down to previous lows. Yeah, I don't see there to be any reason for me to short Tesla down here. It would make more sense for me to buy it than for me to go short. Too many questions for you today. Yeah, a handful of questions, but it's okay. We have a handful of beginners that are probably watching today, so I just feel like most of the stream was me answering questions and less of me actually taking a trade. But again, we like to host these lives because I hope it gives you guys a real inside look of, what it's actually like. You have to think about it. Like, I host these every single day. So every single day, it's not going to be super exciting. Think about your job or think about any job. Is every day a jam-packed day? No, yesterday was a very efficient day. Today, it looks like I'm getting a slower start. And the market's fine. Market's trading just fine, kind of, right? We got rejected. It's selling off now, making new lows. That's in favor of SQQQ. It's not doing bad. It's just I still haven't pulled the trigger on any trade just yet. But it gives you like a real look of, every day is not going to be a super profitable or super exciting day. And that's okay, right? That's life. So it's, there's days that seem very hyped and there's days that are very slow. But it's your job as the trader to ask yourself, do I feel comfortable enough taking a position today? Or for whatever the reason might be, maybe you stay cash, right? And other people can choose to trade, and that's fine if they think that it meets their criteria. But if you choose to either stay cash or stay a little bit more patient, then, right, all power to you. Ricky, do you recommend to paper trade into live markets? I think paper trading is a great way to build experience. And if you're simply trying to become more familiar with the platform, if you have that learning curve of, I don't know at all what I'm doing, I don't know how to buy a stock, I don't know how to sell a stock, I don't know where to buy the lows, I don't know where to buy the highs, I don't understand indicators, I think paper trading is yes, I think paper trading can be very, very useful because you have to think about it. If you trade with real money when you're just getting started and you make mistakes, it's going to cost you real money, right? Simple. It's going to cost you real money if you begin to make these mistakes. And I'm glad that you're at least asking that question because we have people that come on in that they do well either with their business or they've already done well in life. and they think that they could come on in and just be like, hey, I'm going to throw 50 bands, $50,000, $100,000, and see what I can make of it. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me, because I don't care if you're worth $1 million or if you're worth $1,000. At the end of the day, your understanding of the market is still zero, right? So why would you put yourself in a position where you are going to make mistakes, and those mistakes are going to cost you so much more money, right? It's the same percentage loss, but when you're trading with a ton of money, it's all about the percent return or loss, right? So that's why we talk about it in the LPP lesson library, the importance of paper trading, practicing, not being afraid to fail, and what better way to fail and to make mistakes if you're paper trading, right? Appreciate that, Christopher. So Ricky, I've been holding TQQQ for quite some time, over a year. I'm currently up 47%. First off, congratulations. Do you think that I should keep holding or sell out? I want to make this very simple. I will never. So, and this is not just for LPP members. Like, this is even if you're considering joining LPP. I will never tell you where to buy or where to sell a stock. If you buy a stock and you have no plan of action to sell it, that is your first mistake. I don't care if you're in the green. It is a bad habit to have. Fortunately, market direction has been in your favor, Tanner, right? But what if all of a sudden something were to be announced and markets were to pull on back? You have no plan of action of when to sell. So we've talked about it in the course, right? You can have a goal for where you take profits. That can be a price target. Or another approach that I could have is if you think that the market has the possibility for it to run higher for longer, then I can follow with a stop loss or a trailing stop loss. We talk about this in the LPP lesson library, right? So you give it the time that it needs to continue to move up, and you simply follow at a distance. The other thing is you could also reduce your position size at these overbought levels. Let's say you have all your money tied up in it. Maybe you sell 75 or 50% or 25%. There's a lot of different ways how you can approach this, but you should never take the trade without having some understanding of how you're going to get out. Fortunately, market direction has been in your favor, but it's not going to always be like that. And when it's not, and you don't have a plan of action, that's when you drain trading accounts. That's when you wipe out everything. So I want you to understand how important that is. But again, I will not tell you where to buy or where to sell. That's none of my business on what you choose to do. We are at all-time highs. For some people, that would be a reason on why to sell. But just because you're at all-time highs doesn't mean that it can't go higher for longer, right? So just because it might be a reason for some doesn't mean that it needs to be a reason for you. I want to encourage you for you to answer those questions. I want you to make those difficult, because they're so simple, right? They're so, like, it should be a simple decision, but it's challenging because we don't know what the future holds. So I always try to remind our beginner traders of, do something that your future self will thank you for. And that's just creating a simple plan of action. It could be reduction of position size, taking profits completely, having a plan of action on where you size out if it breaks below with a stop loss or trailing stop loss. A lot of different ways around this. But I need you to decide what's best for you and your goals and your plans, okay? What's going on, Paco? Never lost money by locking in profits. All right. What are we thinking about Tesla? Is this going to be a dip buy, or is Tesla going to continue to sell off and make new lows? What are we thinking? It's still looking a little bit bearish, right? I was wondering why you check Tesla a lot more than other stocks. Is there a reason? Just curious. I've been shorting Tesla. I shorted it yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. So yeah, I'm paying more attention to it because it's more relevant to me. But no, I've gone weeks without even touching Tesla. It's just more relevant to me right now. Right? When you're actively trading something, you tend to pay a little bit more attention to it. Ricky, is your course less than 1K? Yeah, what the heck? It's literally linked down below. It's the second link down below. It's 50% off right now. That means it's like 249 bucks. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. You'll get to watch me trade live every day. You get access to the A to Z video lesson library. And you get access to our private group chat. And it's the only thing that I offer. I don't offer different packages, different subscriptions. It's this. I work with one team and one team only. I like to keep it simple. And if you're anything like me, then again, I like to be all-inclusive. Here it goes. Market dropping. Is it a monthly plan payoff thing or a subscription? No, it is a one-time payment. I think that Teachable offers a payment plan, but I'm telling you, don't do it. The payment plan, you're not able to get a discount if you do the one-time payment. Overall, it's going to be the cheapest. Because I think Teachable can split the payment into 2 or 3 payments. I don't know what it does. But there's no reason to do that because it has to be at full price, which you end up paying double of what you would at the 50% off. I enjoy everyday LPP, so why do you have ads in the LPP live stream? It's how my YouTube channel is set up. The mustache is coming in nicely. Thank you. Thinking of shaving it, but it's looking a little dirty. What platform are you using for trading? I use Webull, which is what you see on my screen right now. It's the 5th link in the description down below if you want to use it yourself. So I've been a member for 3 years. My husband calls me a lucky dog. I'm not lucky. I have a plan and I learned through Ricky. I appreciate that, Elizabeth. Thank you. Ricky looks like Cantinflas. I know exactly who that is. I would grow up. I grew up watching that because my dad would always play that. That's so funny. Wow, I haven't thought of that in a while. That is too good. Would you recommend LPP for new traders? It is designed for beginners. I would say that if you were experienced, I wouldn't suggest it for you. I get messages all the time of like, hey Ricky, I've been trading for 2 to 3 years. People always just want to sign up because they want access to these live sessions. But they're like, do you think that I should sign up for LPP to review the course? And I'm just like, the course is designed for beginners. I'm very open about it. It says it all over the site. It's designed for beginners. But you also get these live sessions. So as you continue to progress as a trader yourself, and again, you also get to tune on into these lives every day. Solid pullback here. Definitely, this was the trade of the day for me, and I missed out on it so far. 2% move. Yes, it can make new lows, but it's coming back to retest previous lows from the pre-market session. Remember, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. Just making you aware that for me, I would be buying to cover my short position here. Just watching for a potential bounce and a reversal. NASDAQ market getting rejected by the moving average, but not really making much progress on the downside. This is the really crappy part about the market sometimes, is that we kind of just trade sideways. Market's not progressing and market's not selling off. So again, I'm sorry that this just happened to have, I wish we would have hosted the free live session yesterday knowing how things played out, but I can't control the market. And if I want to lead by example, I need to lead by example, not just on my very successful days, but also on days like this where, to me, other than the Tesla short that we called out, to me as of right now, it just doesn't make much sense for me to force a position into shorting the market or to going long when there's no progress, right? Quality over quantity. That needs to be something that we all understand and respect. So, free live is every Friday? No. I do it about once a month, if that. I've gone 3 to 4 months without doing it. So I don't know if I'm going to do it next month. But again, if you join and sign up for LPP, you get to see these happen live every morning, Monday through Friday, right at market open. All right. Are you an options trader too? Nope. So is there an option to Webull? I'm not an American citizen. Yeah, Lucas, there's a handful of different trading platforms. So let's say that, we have a brokerage list in the LPP lesson library. There's just a handful of different brokers that we make you aware of, but you don't even have to choose any of those. You can see whatever brokerage is available from whatever country it is that you're from. Okay. Here comes QQQ, breaking, nope, already bounced. Ricky, what do you think about prop firms that have become so massive amongst retail traders? I think the biggest focus should be trying to grow your own money in your own account. I believe you have to pay for these challenges, right? It's up to you. I don't want to stray anyone away that if they see value in those things, then great. But let me just not sugarcoat it. If you can't make money with your own money, what makes you think you're going to make money with more money than someone else's? It's not rocket science, right? So you need to learn how to trade yourself. And if you can't even do that, then again, trying to take on a challenge with other people's money is not going to do you any good. Ricky, can you explain the feeling when you realized you made it in this cutthroat business? It's not any feeling. From the very beginning, I don't care about what other people are doing. I work with my team. That's how it's always been from the beginning. I work with my LPP team every morning. They are my focus. And I try to the best of my ability to try to be the best I can for them, right? That's all. And that's all I can ever try to be. If you see value in that, great, I'm here. If you don't see value in it, then that's fine. You don't have to be a part of it, right? It's very, very simple. So I don't view it as a cutthroat business, or because then that means that I'm competing with someone else or something. I'm working with my team. That's all. Looks like Tesla's beginning to show signs of a potential reversal. Watch for the break above EMA and the break above the moving average. What's your opinion on trading on margin? I trade on margin. I think it's better than trading on a cash account, but that's just me. It's my opinion based off of how I trade and what I trade. I prefer margin over cash. Do I think that you need to be extremely leveraged? No, especially when you're getting started. I think that you should be trading with as close to zero as possible, right? Just like we explained earlier within this live. Ricky, did you sell your saved position? No. Is it still pulling on back? No, it's pretty much break even. Yeah, no, I still have it. I really don't care to have it. I'll sell it. I only bought 100 shares yesterday. So I'm up. That's the crazy part. I'm up 22% on the day. That's wild. I would have loved that. So I'll sell the full. I don't care to be in the position. I bought it as a joke with our LPP team yesterday. So yeah, it was cool to see that it recovered. But I could have never predicted that this would have happened the day after it sold off 30%, right? It was all it was doing yesterday was selling off. Again, we can't predict the future. We'll never be perfect. So not too worried about that. Still pushing, still extremely overbought, about to touch that 30% mark. I'm just going to set my alert for a potential break below, just for funsies. Look at that. NASDAQ right back up to the moving average. Surprise, surprise. Getting rejected off that moving average already. Getting ready to pull on back. Oh boy. We're not doing anything new here. Bulls are putting up a damn fight. Yeah, I mean, we're just getting a lot of choppiness. How's the rest of the market? So Tesla getting ready for a reversal here. We'll see if it gets it. Okay. Getting rejected, getting rejected, getting rejected, 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 rejected. Alibaba's getting smashed. Not today. Overall, yeah, it's been selling off. Possible good short, but might be too oversold already. Yeah, too oversold for my cup of tea. But nice call. It's just a little bit too slow as of today. Where's the resistance for TQQQ? Moving average. That's where it's getting rejected. Moving average. Simple. You can look at it and you can easily see. Moving average. Tries to break above, rejection. tries to break above, rejection. Tries to break above and test, rejection. No progress there. Sorry guys, but I'm not going to take a trade if direction is not clear and my criteria is not met. So I do apologize that this live was a little bit more on the boring side. We answered a lot of questions, so hopefully that was useful for those that were, it seems like we had a lot of people that were tuning on in for the first time. Again, but that's what these lives are. There's some really good lives, then there's some boring ones that nothing happens. Our job is to show up every day. And that's what we do here at LPP. On the good days, on the bad days, on the choppy days, we show up. And again, we love to have you as a part of the team if you see value in that. Monday through Friday, anytime that the market is open and live, so am I. So again, second link in the description down below. It's 50% off. You don't have to join. But if you want to be able to experience this, if you want to be able to join my team, it's the biggest discount. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. And you'll get to watch me trade live every day. And you also get access to the A to Z video lesson library that's designed for complete beginners. Do another free live next Friday. I don't care to, Ray. It's either you like it or you don't. And if you don't like it, it's okay. It won't make or break me, right? I'd rather respect more my LPP students who invested into LPP and just keep it private on that. So it's just the draw the cards today, a little bit of a slower day. So I'm just choosing to stay cash. If you want to join, great. And if not, I respect that. Subscribe to the channel and hopefully we earn your thumbs up. I also do want to remind you there's less than 48 hours left for our Tesla Model 3 giveaway. It ends on January 21st, which is again in just 2 days. We're doing 20x entries, which means every order from shoptechbits.com will automatically get you entered for a chance to win. We have the Elon Musk Go F Yourself tees. That's 1,000 entries, mouse pads, mystery boxes, t-shirts. Literally every item gets you entered. You can buy a Wall Street shirt. You can buy a trading mouse pad. You can buy trading art. Doesn't matter. Every order gets you entered. You have 2 days or this Tesla's going to someone else and not you. So appreciate your time. Hope that earned a thumbs up. This is the 4th link in the description down below. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to shoot me a DM. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.